This week, we're jumping into week 23 of pregnancy. And honestly, it's such an amazing time because it's like two incredible stories are happening at the exact same time. You've got your baby's incredible development, and then there are all the huge changes happening to you. So let's get into this dual journey. Just think about that for a second. What does your heartbeat sound like from the inside? It's this constant thumping rhythm, right? For your baby, that sound is literally home. And this week is so cool because their ability to actually hear that sound, well, it's coming online for the very first time.
So let's talk about why week 23 is such a big deal. It's a landmark week for sure. We're talking about massive developmental leaps, especially when it comes to your baby's senses. I mean, they're starting to piece together their very first impressions of the world, all from the inside.
And this is a really fundamental shift, you know? Your baby isn't just along for the ride anymore. They're becoming this active little participant in their own story. The ability to touch, to hear, to even start forming tiny memories, it's like a big bang of new sensory experiences for them.
Okay, so let's dive into the first half of our journey. We're going to focus completely on your baby's incredible world, where brand new senses are waking up like every single day.
Just look at those hands. They're so developed. What's happening here is that the baby's nervous system and muscles are finally coordinated enough for that grasping reflex to kick in. So if anything touches their palm, those tiny fingers will instinctively curl up and close. It's amazing.
And then there's hearing. Now, the baby's little external ears, they've been there for a bit, but it's the machinery on the inside that's really firing up this week. All those super important parts for processing sound are finally maturing. You know, it is such a cool process. You've got three of the absolute tiniest bones in the whole human body, the malleus, incus, and stapes. And right now they're hardening up, going from soft cartilage to actual solid bone. This is what lets them carry sound vibrations all the way to the cochlea, which then does the magic trick of turning it all into signals the brain can finally understand. It's just mind-blowing biology.
So, what's the big takeaway here? Well, it's that this opens up a whole new universe for your baby. They can actually hear those low-frequency sounds, like the rumble of your stomach or that constant beat of your heart. And get this, along with this new sense comes the very first flicker of memory. Babies at this stage can actually learn to get used to a repeated sound and then just ignore it. That's literally the earliest form of learning. How incredible is that?
And we get to peek in on all this development thanks to ultrasound. So on the left, you see a pretty standard 2D scan. It gives doctors a great look at the internal organs. But then you look to the right, and that 3D scan gives you this unbelievable, lifelike detail of your baby's face, their little hands, all of it. And for so many parents seeing these images, that's when the bonding really kicks into high gear.
All right, so while your baby's in there getting super active, grasping, moving, hearing things, you're on the other side of this journey, right? And their growth is what's behind a whole bunch of new physical changes that you're starting to feel. So let me ask you this. Are your fingers tingling? It might sound kind of random, but if you've been waking up with that numb or pins and needles feeling in your hands, trust me, you are not alone. And there's a very specific reason why it's happening. A lot of the time, it's actually carpal tunnel syndrome. See, during pregnancy, your blood volume and fluid levels go way up. This can make tissues in your wrist swell and pinch a major nerve. But, and this is the important part, the good news is it's almost always temporary. It usually just goes away after the baby's born. And thankfully, you don't just have to suffer through it. There are some simple things you can do to get some relief. Gentle wrist exercises, like just circling them around, can really help with circulation. A lot of people find that wearing wrist splints at night is a game changer because it keeps everything in a nice neutral position. Hey, even just propping your hands up on a pillow while you sleep can make a huge difference. A couple of other things you might be noticing. Feeling a little dizzy sometimes, especially if you stand up too fast? That's just your blood flow adjusting. And if you're feeling extra clumsy lately, well, you can thank a hormone called relaxin. It's doing its job loosening up your joints for birth, but it can totally mess with your center of gravity. Just remember, it's all normal and it's all temporary.
Okay, let's switch gears to something a bit more serious for a second. Food safety. It's just so important to be mindful of this right now. While a lot of foodborne bugs might just make you feel sick, listeria is a whole different ballgame during pregnancy. This quote here really drives home why it's absolutely critical to follow food safety rules. And of course, call your doctor right away if you even think you've eaten something that might be contaminated.
Okay, so we've talked about the physical stuff, but your whole world is shifting in other ways too, emotionally, socially. So let's talk about how to navigate all of that.
First off, if your emotions feel like they're on a total roller coaster, that is 100% normal. Talking about it with someone is so helpful. You might also find your friendships are kind of changing. Maybe you're gravitating towards other expectant parents. And listen, you have to listen to your body. If you're exhausted and don't feel like socializing, that is more than okay. But on the flip side, don't be shocked if one day you wake up with this crazy burst of energy and need to organize everything. Yep, that's that famous nesting instinct kicking in.
And hey, in the middle of all this serious talk, here's a fun little fact for you. According to one study, when it comes to changing diapers, men are actually faster on average. We're talking 1 minute and 36 seconds versus 2 minutes and 5 seconds for women. So, maybe that's a job you can delegate.
All right, let's bring these two journeys, yours and the baby's, back together. Because all of these changes, everything we've talked about, it's all leading to one of the most powerful connections in the world, that bond between a parent and their child.
You might be surprised by how you're feeling already. This overwhelming need to protect this tiny person you haven't even met yet. That powerful, selfless feeling, that's the foundation of mothering. And for a lot of people, that feeling just gets stronger and stronger every single day. And you know what? Nurturing that bond starts right now. Every healthy choice you make for yourself is really one of your first acts of mothering. But listen, it's also really important to say, if you don't feel that intense connection just yet, that is completely okay. It happens differently for everyone at a different pace. And make sure you're bringing your partner into it all. Sharing what the baby's up to, bringing them to appointments, that helps their bond grow too.
So this is the week your baby really starts to hear you. Your voice, your heartbeat, they're learning the soundtrack of their world, and you're the main composer. It leaves you with a pretty amazing question to think about, doesn't it? As your baby learns to hear your voice from the inside, how will you start sharing your world with them?